What would worry you the most, Governor, about mass deportations?
Well, I think the diversion of law enforcement from the work that they do every day to keep our communities safe. People hiding in fear. We saw that under previous state policies here, and it harms communities.
Title 8, United States Code 1324, III. Read about that and don't cross that line, because it is a felony to harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. Read the statute, don't cross that line.
That's a warning from Tom Homan right there.
I want to talk about the border real quick, because Tom Homan, in the notes that we got here, is that Tom Homan fires back at Democrat governors vowing to block Trump from deporting migrants. Now, I don't know how much power the federal government has against states for not cooperating in federal affairs. Because if we just say we were trying to block the border off from foreign enemies, and then Texas just let the border stay wide open and let as many enemies in, like, what does the federal government do? You got to have a recourse. The federal government has to have jurisdiction over the border. So let me read some stats real quick, and then we're going to go to Tom Homan's video. It says 2024 ends with nearly 3 million inadmissible encounters, bringing the total encounters to 10 million since 2021. Since the start of fiscal year 2021, in October of 2020, Customs and Border Protection has recorded more than 10 million encounters nationwide, including more than 8.72 million at the southwest border. Of the 2.9 million nationwide encounters in fiscal year 2024, 46% were at port of entry, while only 15% nationwide encounters were at port of entries in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in an existential crisis in America, and we better get out together. This video is brought to you by Ground.News, Ground.News. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check this out real quick. Like I always tell you guys when I talk about Ground.News, the balance of perspective is what's incredibly important here. Trump confirms that he's going to use the military to deport migrants. And the funny thing is, and this is a rare occasion, that when you click on the left, they're confirming the same type of rhetoric as the center and as the right. It seems like the whole country is united in that Donald Trump is going to use military to deport illegal aliens in this country, which I am happy about. Right over here to the right, you can see how many are left, right, or center. You can see which agencies have or which organizations are writing about this, the factuality results. You can see how factual some of these articles are and how dependable they are. And you can see if there's media conglomerates or independent news outlets. You can see the reporting on that. And they're talking about this all over the world. Everywhere you can think about, they're talking about Donald Trump using deportation. If you want to follow Donald Trump, you can click here and follow all the news associated with Donald Trump. Let's go to Blind Spot real quick, because I don't want you to be blind spotted. All right. These are things in this section. These are things that Republicans need to think about and that Democrats need to think about that could be blindsides to them. Let me give you an example. On the right, it says Trump expected to name Linda McMahon as education secretary, which is something obviously is probably a little bit controversy. And I think Republicans should be paying attention to this. Also, Biden missed G20 family photo. White House blamed logistical issues. This is something that Democrats better pay attention to. They're going to get caught in the crossfire. I want you guys to go to ground.news/Tatum right now and subscribe through my link and get 50% off the Vantage plan, which is the plan that I use for unlimited access. Why would you get it without getting unlimited access? Anyway, shout out to Ground.News. Get balanced news from both sides of the spectrum. Tom, take it away.
Real quickly, what happens to a mayor or a local police department chief that is under Democratic leadership that obstructs ICE in your federal agents that are helping get these deportations? What happens to them?
Well, first of all, if they don't want to help us get the hell out of the way, we're going to do it. If I got to send twice the amount of resources to that city, that's what we're going to do. If they would give us access to the jail, that would mean less agents in the community. For them pushing back and not letting us in the jail, it just means more agents are going to be in the community, so they're hurting themselves. Finally, I'll say this. They need to educate themselves. They need to review this. Title 8, United States Code 1324, III. Read about that and don't cross that line, because it is a felony to harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. Read the statute, don't cross that line.
That's a warning from Tom Homan right there.
I don't want it to just be a warning. I want people to go to jail. These mayors and these people are harboring illegal aliens intentionally. And then they go out and hurt somebody. And knowingly and intentionally harboring illegal aliens that then go out and kill somebody, you should be held vicariously responsible for it. So I want to play the clip of Katie Hobbs that's in the state of Arizona. Before I start the clip, Katie Hobbs is the most disgusting, disgraceful governor in the entire United States of America. Before she put the picture up there, she is the most disheveled governor that I've ever seen. Every time you see Katie Hobbs, look like she just got out of bed getting beat up all night. And I'm not talking about in a good way. All right, put her up on the screen. Don't she? Well, she may got a hair crease this time, but every time you see her, she looked like she just came from a Halloween party or something. Roll the clip.
When hearing about the Trump administration's plans for border security, the emphasis really is on this mass deportation. What we saw here today is the actual work happening at our ports of entry that are interdicting drugs, keeping those drugs off our streets, and we need more of that to secure the border here.
As you know, Trump has promised that he would carry out mass deportations on day one of his presidency. Your state is estimated to have 250,000 undocumented immigrants. Some Democrats in your state, like Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego, say that she wouldn't allow police to be used to carry out this plan. Would you, as governor, allow state police and National Guard to carry out mass deportations?
We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities, and I've been incredibly clear about that.
So you disagree with mass deportations and the fact that the president-elect says that's what he's going to be working on day one?
Well, I think that those efforts are going to divert needed resources that we need here on these drug interdiction and smuggling and trafficking efforts to keep harm out of our communities. We need those resources here, and the coming here today and seeing this operation firsthand just underscores that working in partnership here is how we can best secure the border.
What would worry you the most, Governor, about mass deportations?
Well, I think the diversion of law enforcement from the work that they do every day to keep our communities safe. People hiding in fear. We saw that under previous state policies here, and it harms communities. It tears families apart, and that's not gonna happen on my watch.
That's why women shouldn't, let me not say that. I almost said that's why women shouldn't lead. Look how silly she is. Look how silly this woman is. She can't even say or have a articulable response without saying, She can't give a straight answer. Not one time did she give a straight answer. Just say that we will not accept deportations, and that's it. It will resources. Tom Homan just said he's going to send as much resources that we need in order to accomplish this. You have people in the state of Arizona with deportation orders, and you feel like you don't have to send them back. Deportation orders, sheportation orders. Who cares? It's the same difference. Come on, man. Y'all got to get it together. All right, we got some more clips on here. The Illinois governor, Pritzker. Listen to this. I almost called him fat. I'm not going to call him fat. Roll the clip.
Chicago. Governor Pritzker, thank you for being here. Let's talk about that. Can the state of Illinois prevent the federal government from building internment camps, a.k.a. what they're calling detention facilities in Chicago?
Well, we have prohibited by law in the state of Illinois the use of any of our existing county jails or prisons for the purpose of rounding people up and detaining them.
All right, you get the gist of what he's saying. The internment camps. She should go to prison for saying it on TV. She's just done, creating chaos and confusion for no reason. Ain't no way in the world you can create an internment camp. These people are so stupid to me. Scott Jennings did a really good job going out against Jake Tapper on this very topic. So we got 2 clips from Scott Jennings. We're going to play both of those clips. Let's start with the first one. Roll it.
I think a few things. Number one, Donald Trump was elected to do this. He ran on it, made it clear what he wanted to do. The American people voted for it. And so some people are watching this going, thank God, a politician who's planning to follow through on their promises. Number two, there's like 1.3 to 1.6 million illegal immigrants who've already received deportation orders from a court. I think you could start there. Number three, there's another population of people who are violent. You could also go there before you ever get to people who are sort of working in industries. And maybe during the course of all that time, maybe, just maybe, the Congress and the White House could figure something out about how to balance our illegal immigration crisis with the need for agricultural labor. Final point, I don't remember anybody having these kinds of meltdowns when Barack Obama deported 5 million people. It is not uncommon for the executive branch to deport illegal immigrants. It happens in every administration. Obama deported more than most. And I don't remember any of this kind of meltdown, and the crisis has only gotten worse. So I think Donald Trump's doing the right thing, and most Republicans would agree it is a national emergency. Well, I think, number one, there was some polling during the election, I think CBS News conducted it, indicating that a majority of Hispanic Americans wanted Donald Trump to do mass deportations, that they had come here, they had gone through the legal process, they had become citizens, and they didn't like the idea of huge scores of illegal immigrants coming across every day. Look at some of the counties in Texas along the border that are majority Hispanic, and the changeover from Biden to Trump. It is a crisis in the Hispanic community. The people who have come here legally, the people here are following all the laws and all the rules. They're living in some of the communities that are the hardest hit. And so I agree that they also believe in Donald Trump's economic message, because most Hispanic Americans are working class Americans, and the working class did flow towards Donald Trump. They're living in the communities that are the hardest hit by illegal immigration and the societal and governance impacts that it brings. And so I think they want him to do something about both. I don't think the two issues are mutually exclusive.
Some of this. And think about this.
The challenge of sorting through them is mammoth. We had a hard time doing it in Iraq. Okay? Our troops have had a hard time doing it in Afghanistan. Trying to ask them to sort through who's who and implement a policy like this, here in the United States is like nothing we've ever seen. Actually, I mean, hold on. Maybe the only precedent we have is internment camps during World War II against Japanese Americans. But there's not a military precedent for sorting through who on the Upper East Side is illegal and who's not. And you're asking a 19-year-old, right, holding a weapon, who signed up to serve his or her country, to thrust themselves into maybe the most fraught political topic that we've got in this country. People want a solution, but they don't necessarily want that one.
You've twice now insinuated that Trump's going to send the military to round up American citizens, which is totally false. There are 1.3 to 1.6 million illegal immigrants in this country today who have already received deportation orders from a court. You can start there. There's another population, as Mark said, that have either committed violent crimes in the United States or committed violent crimes where they came from. You can also do that. That has nothing to do with the people in your neighborhood, has nothing to do with the person in your office, and has nothing to do with whatever the hell you're talking about. It has to do with getting people out of the country who do not belong.
How are you going to deploy the military? Give me how exactly you would deploy an active duty military unit to respond to this crisis.
I would use the military in conjunction with local officials,
what does that look like?
Local law enforcement, county sheriffs, people who know their communities, because I assume a lot of the local sheriffs and jailers are going to be the people who end up housing some of these folks before they are deported. But there has to be some...
What's the task and purpose? What's the mission for that young private? What is he actually going to be tasked to do? Guard a gate? Or is he going to be investigating?
I don't know. I wasn't elected
president. But you're sitting here on CNN saying we should do it. I think you should think out a little bit more about what they actually should be required to do.
Do not belong.
It sounds real good.
One at a time. Scott, quickly.
There are millions of people who came into the country illegally, who have already received deportation orders, or who have committed some other crime while they've been here. The fact that you want to leave them in place is mind-boggling.
Give that man a raise. Give him a raise. And maybe he'll be press secretary next. Give him a raise.